Hello to everyone, this is Vishal, and now we again on another tutorial, MVVM, in which today I have described to you how we can set adapter with uh, view model, and how we can do this by the data binding approach. So as on my previous tutorials, have you seen, or you already seen that, and you already watched that, how the data binding be achieved and how the model view and model interacts with that binding in a simple text view and other. So today I want to show to you that how we can set our adapters for the list view if you want to bind your data as a list view. So just a small view of that you can see on my screen. See, what is a simple binding? We have a data source, we have adapter, and we have adapter views. And adapter views is a kind of your list view, grid view, spinners, and again. But here we can approach on this adapter view as an the adapter with interact with our view model, and that adapter we can set our array list values we have to set on that, and then we can interact with our uh, main activity binding. So this is so the simple steps we have to follow. Just we have to bind. We have activity main binding as told you before in before tutorials, and we have a view model, and last in it we have add adapter. So these things how we can bind and how we can do, we see it practically. Okay, so just watch how we can do that. See here. So first we go for as an build gradle, and in the build gradles just simple data binding, and here we have enable, that's beer 2, and sync this. Okay, this is your very first and basic steps we have to follow for the data binding and MVVM approach. Yeah, so that's fine. Now we have to make our layout. So here I want be a simple linear layout. Okay, and here we have a list view, match parent, wrap content, and set the ID of this list view, and this is your list view. Okay, so in the basic approaches what we do in some simple adapter, we have a base adapter, and that we have to set that adapter in our list view using that on particular r.id that list view, and we get the data from the backend likewise that. Okay, so we do the approaches, but how we can use this list view as in data binding. So see here, and yeah, just for divider height little bit set weird, so looks good. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so this is your list view. Okay, and no need here for the layout and a binding, but you put it just later we see if use or not for the data inside that layout. You just leave it now. Okay, so this is your base thing, that is our list view be here. Okay, now we go for this our main activity, and in a main activity we have to set this private activity binding. Sometimes what happen that we never it never recognize the classes, so for that you just be rebuild the project. Yeah, take a time for a minute. Okay, so that in this approach we just set our activity binding to that particular list view and set that adapter. So this approach we have private, you can see that activity main binding, and that activity binding we have to set here. This is your activity main binding, and data binding util dot set content view, and we have to set our content view for this activity main. No need of this, so this is approach, and we have to set the okay, so leave it here. This is our activity main binding settings. Okay, now these be the basic things as in did it many times. Now we have to go for our model and view model. So we create a package model. Now we have to create a package view model, and under the model we take some real world entities. So what we take, okay, we have to show our news, so make it a news for that. Okay, so here we have a model of a news, and here we set the values be our public string header, that means a news heading, and second is description. Okay, now we have to create a constructor for that. Generate our constructor for both the things, simple. Okay, so this is our news. Now we go for the model, that's everything be here. So this is our news model, that's, and in this we have to pass our model public news model, and this is our news, and take these two things be here. We need to set values, and so this dot header is equals to our model be, what is that, news dot header, and the same approach is this dot description is your news dot description. So everything should be here. So here we have to apply the data setters also if needed, otherwise leave them. Now one more thing, for setting this, for setting the array list, what we need, I want array list, so public array list, I want with the array list of kind news model, and get array list for news, like a method, and here we have an array list news model, array list, and this your new array list. Okay, and we need to add these things. So here, okay, return this news model array list because of it is return type, and here we have a news model, object of that news model, that's be a news model, and this is your new news is your first header, and this is your description, this is first news. Okay, and just copy paste it, make it 1, copy paste it, 2 3 4. Okay, so make it 1 2 3, 4. These all stuffs you will take from the web services or from our database. Okay, so here this is your first header that I will show you on our new tutorials how we can interact with database also. Okay, so first you see how we can do this MVVM bindings with all kind of models. So first, second, third, and this one is your fourth. Okay, and this is your gonna be third news, this is your fourth news, and we have to add these things to our news model. Arraylist dot add. First we need to add this news model 1, this is your 2, this is your 3, and this is your 4. So we have to show these newses that is in our model, that is in our view model. So we have to interact with this to our adapter. Okay, and how we can achieve that, that is our news. Okay, no need of this is our news model, we'll check it later. Now we go for a new package that's called your adapter, and in this adapter we need a Java class that's called your news adapter. And here I am showing the simple news as an array form, so I am going for the array adapter. Okay, and this array adapter is your news model type, and it says something to us that you have to create a constructor matching super. Yes, make it constructor matching super. Okay, so for this, what is the super values we have to show here? So that is no need of this layout here. I want with the array list, which we have to pass from our main activity binding, that is our news model of Arraylist. Okay, so news model Arraylist. So and here we can say this. Okay, for this context, this is your for this context we need a layout. So layout in which we have to show this news model, that means your list row. Okay, so what we do for that, just simply go for the layout. Okay, we missed this, so first we have to make our list row. So easy, and here simply this is your vertical, make it as an rep content, and take two text view, and yeah, copy paste. Okay, and set any background color to this color primary. We have set these things. Okay, now we come on this for the layout, because its layout is important here because of we have to bind the elements we have. And here we can say it is a data, and that data variable we need it news list element, and here it is a com dot example dot binding our view model and news model. We have to approach this news model. Okay, so here we have a text. Is your at news list dot, you can see this is your header, this is your description. So leave it like that, and uh, layout finishing we will do it after setting the adapter. So you can see this is our r dot, we go back to our adapter and say r dot layout dot list row, and we have to pass news model array list. So this is your super, and here we need a private array list, and this is our news model array list, and here it is private context we set it to 1, and say we have to set these two values for the adapter as we do simply this dot context 1 give your context, so easy, and this dot news model array list be your news model array list, simple. Okay, so these all be for our news adapter and our main activity binding. So what to do that? Simply approach, we have to set adapter for the list view, and list view interact with this main activity, and that activity binding approaches always to your news model, because of that is our view model. Okay, so how we can achieve this? We can achieve it as make a private news model as a news model. Okay, so for this news model you also be create a constructor that we can access it anywhere without any parameter. Okay, so that is an important, and we need a array list. Which kind of array list? As we are passing our model, that is our view model array list, so that's our news model array list. Okay, so these things. So news model is your new news model, very simple, and news model array list is what? That's an important, that's our get array list news. That means we have to pass these things to our news model array list, and this our now we need a adapter to set on our list view. So say private news adapter, our news adapter, and news adapter is equals to new news adapter this comma new model array list. And now the last is, as we did in simple binding, when we use adapter be there, we use that particular list, we take it from r.id dot list view and then set adapter on that. The same thing be but by the binding. So this is your binding dot for which we have a list view dot set adapter, and this your news adapter. So that's finished for this model main activity. Okay, Now we come on that we have to show the things on our adapter. So generally we need a get view. So let's check override methods, and override methods you can see that this is your get view. Okay, so at this time nothing, just return null and or remain it till we uh, see the actual value by the layout inflator. So layout inflator, we have to inflate our uh, list.row values. Okay, so that is an important. So we need a parent, we have to inflate that parent dot get context. So easy. Okay, so this is our layout inflator for that, the parent get context. That means we have to show that the view. And now for this simple, here you do the main activity binding for this, but we need a main activity binding for the list row. So for this we have a list row binding. This is your list row binding, and that's be your data binding util dot, here you have to put inflate. Okay, because of on that, on the main activity we need to show the values of the activity, so we set the context view. Here we have to inflate the view, so here we have a inflate, and in this we have to inflate which view, that is our layout inflator. And which resource we have to inflate, so our dot layout dot list row we have to inflate, and then that's your for the parent, and the last one is your false. Okay, you can see this method data binding description on your Google it, you can see that exactly. So we have to inflate the simple parameters, 4 parameters be here. And list row binding we have to set, you can see the set news list. Which news models we have to set, we have to set our news list for this news model. So that's your get, and this is your position. So we have to set all the values of this array list on the particular position. That means we have to count the row one by one. 1 position, 0 position, 1 position, 2 position, 3 position. Here we have a 4 element. Okay, 4 elements. So this is our binding for that. And here the most important thing, how we can return the things be here, because of this is our binding. So binding always be approaches to the parent, and parent approaches to your root value. So this is our get root. Okay, so that means it is a view of your parent approach. Okay, so these things be simple, and these are our settings of news adapter main activity. Okay, let's check the things what happen in it. Also be set the color primary background. Okay, we'll check uh, with the new colors. First we check it's render or not. So just wait and watch what happen in the binding. If everything is fine, then we make it little interact with the colors. Yeah, so that's you can see on my screen. This in the first header, second header, third header, and the fourth header. That's with the binding with the adapter. So make it little interactive to set the colors. I want 2 more colors. This is your white and for the text, and this is for some green shades. And let's check some green shade be here. So here you can see the return the outermost view in the layout file associated with the binding. That's the meaning of get root. Okay, so here some check the, yeah, this is already be open, some green shades be okay. We'll check it, some good color. Yeah, this is our color for the green shade. Okay, now we go for the list row. And in this list row we have to change the color green shade. Okay, and this is our text color, and it's be white. I want with the white. And yeah, actually the header text be little more text size we have to increase for the header. Take it as 16 dp, and the same thing, and take it as 13 dp. Okay, so this is our settings, and little bit we have to set the margin. So padding be your 5 dp we take it, and the margin we take it as also be a 5 dp. That's fine. And also we can change our main activity color, so that looks good. So yeah, choose some light color. Yeah, that's fine. We'll take it a light shade. So go for this and copy paste green shade light, and copy this. Yeah, so this is our green shade light. So make it on background be your green shade. Now we can see the perfect view of this list binding with MVVM model. So I think it's interesting and easy to do the bindings with your database or the web services values. Yeah, so that's nice. So this is our headers, and we can show the bindings with this. Okay, so thank you for the tutorial, and we will go for another tutorial soon. That is also be the part of MVVM. You can uh, uh, do practice on these MVVM models. Thank you so much.